No, I'll tell you, Wilhelm. If I could sweep her away from here tomorrow, I'd do it. But Klimek still has so much to learn.
Klimek is doing just fine. You should follow your heart.
Perhaps one day, but not today.
No. Use the Force, Luke. Use the Force. I all didn't meet your slack here. Alright, let's take care of some business. This is entirely a business video. This and the next video. Got a lot of business to take care of, and if you think you can play through Skyrim without taking care of business, you got another thing coming. It just ain't gonna happen. Alright, so I'm gonna like separate these business videos into separate videos, so those of you who don't feel like watching them, just want to get straight to the action, can skip ahead, you know, like use your powers of fast travel, or like your time warp powers to skip ahead a day or two to the next videos where I stay, you know, when I get back to the quest and the action. But for now, I want to do some major smithing and figure out exactly what the deal is with that. I've already figured it out actually, and this is just a demonstrational video. Two things I want to establish: exactly what kind of smithing activities upgrade your smithing skills. Okay, and I've already got that figured out, and I'm going to do a little demonstration about that. First thing I'm going to do is activate the warrior stone, because that's going to upgrade our smithing abilities 20% faster. Second thing I'm going to do is head on into Riverwood. Trade off whole things with my helper donkey Lydia, and get all ready for a big smithing session. Then we're going to jam on up to Whiterun, do a little smelting. That's one of the first activities I want to test out.
We heading out?
Pardon me, I just had lunch.
I am sworn to carry your burdens.
Alright, that's very convenient. Lydia, let's take some stuff off you. Starting with, nope. Leave the bear pelt, we're going to need that. Deer hide, we'll take that. Leather, we'll take that. Leather strips, I'm carrying too much to run. Okay, no problem, figure that out later. Take all those leather strips. Take all those iron ore. 3 steel ingots. And all the wolf pelts. And we need to dump off some stuff because we're too heavy. And let's just give Lydia some of these weapons here we're collecting. We'll get them back later and sell them back to what's his face. Give you one of those. Yes, I know. Give you that. And one of those. And there we go, down to 283. Let's give you this iron dagger too. There we go. And what the hell, this steel greatsword, you can have that too. I'm going to get that back from you later, Lydia. Alright, down to 264. Reasonable weight.
I'll just be here then.
What time is it? It is 3:35 in the AM. And you know what? Let's go wake up Delphine at the inn and rent a room. Hello, Delphine. Wakey, wakey. Slack wants a room. He's a weary traveler. He's been exploring the dungeons of Skyrim. Here she is. Wake up. I want to rent a room.
That visitor been poking around. Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
Yeah, she's easy to find in the middle of the night. Finally figured this out. If you ever want to find Delphine, she's asleep in here. But she doesn't show you to your room you just rented. Oh, you can go back to sleep there. Sorry to wake you up. Your room that you rented is always over there. See, there's the bar. It's not that one. It's always this one. To my understanding, anyways. And this is one of those fancy smancy rooms with a door. Unlike the ones in the Iverstead Inn. Rest how long? Let's rest till... Gotta make a quick trip over to the smelter in Whiterun. And I do believe it's a 2-hour journey from Riverwood to Whiterun. So, and 2 hours back. Let's just sleep an hour. And that'll put us right back here first thing in the morning, ready to do some business. Ready to do some smithing. Okay, first question is... I'm not asking you out there. The question we're asking in the video is, does smelting increase your smithing skills? And the answer is no, it does not. And we're going to prove that right now. Put it right on video record. I have in my possession 11 iron ore, I believe. There they are, 11 iron ore. We're going to go over to the smelter here in Whiterun and turn them into iron ingots. And before we do that, let's check to see where our smithing skill is at this very moment. There we go. Jam that on over to smithing. Whoops, went by it. Right there. Here we go, smithing. It's currently at level 20, and you can see the meter is right below, let's say, the second tail on the H, okay? There we go, second tail on the H. Let's see if we can budget by smelting 11 iron ingots. That should be enough to make a difference, eh? Here we go, iron ingots. 11, there we go. Jammed us up a whole bunch of iron ingots. Okay, let's check the smithing skill again. The meter is still directly below the second tail on the H. Did not budge, okay? If it did budge, it's like, you know, 1 micrometer or something. So it's safe to assume that smelting does not add any leveling up to your smithing skill. Okay, next.
Here in the city.
Let's go back to Riverwood. Does tanning level up your smithing skill? And once again, the answer is no. And we'll prove that right now. I have in my possession, I believe, 12 wolf pelts and 1 deer hide, which we can turn into leather. Here's Faendal. I'm going to need him later. Is that Faendal? Yeah, it is. Oh, no, that's Sven. Okay.
May the gods watch over your battles, friend.
And here comes Alvor to work. Okay, here's the tanning rack. We know where the smithing skill meter was reading before. Let's make ourselves a whole bunch of leather from the wolf pelts. You get 1 leather per wolf pelt, and you get 2 leathers per deer skin, and I'll show you that later on. Let's just make up a whole bunch of leather. There we go. Tanned ourselves up a whole bunch of leather. Let's check it out. Here's our leather. We had 5 before, we added on 12, we got 17 now. And let's check out our skills. Smithing skill, once again, did not budge. And that's with the Warrior Stone plus 20% bonus and the Well Rested bonus stacked on top of that. So there we go. It's proven. Smelting and tanning do not improve your smithing skill, not one bit. Now let's get on to another question. This whole thing about upgrading from fine to superior. In this official Skyrim game guide, it says, I forget what page, but I was reading up. It says has all these like levels that you have to attain in order to get the like 6 different grades of armor and weapons, and there are the 6 different grades of armor and weapon are fine, superior, exquisite, flawless, epic, and legendary. And you can make fine right from the get-go, but you need a higher smithing skill level in order to make the other levels. Okay, so the next one up from fine is superior, and it says in the official Skyrim game guide that you, from levels 20 to 39, you can make superior weapons and armor. And do I have some steel ingots on board? I need that for this demonstration. I don't think I do. Oh, there they are. Okay. So, look here, steel dagger. All we can do is make fine, and we know that I have level 20. We just saw that. Level 20 smithing. What's up with that? Hunting bow. Okay, all we can do is make fine. We got the materials. This one requires a steel ingot. This one requires leather strips. I got enough leather strips. See? All we can get is fine. So I'm going to get on over here to the workbench here. Armor is pretty much the same thing. I want to improve this Imperial Light Armor. All we can get is fine. Okay, I have the required materials. Leather here, iron helmet. I got an iron ingot, but can't improve it. all you can do is go up to fine. How do you get to superior? Well, you actually need at least level
You looking
22.
for a new blade?
That's if you're working with steel materials, okay? And the way it works is the base level that you have to get up to make any superior weapon or armor is at least 31, okay? It's not 20. It's not 20 to 39. It starts at 31, okay? But if you apply a particular perk, okay, like for example, whatever weapons or armor you want to work with, if you want to work with steel weapons and armor, for example, if you get that perk, which I have, steel smithing, it gives you a, how should we say, a discount on the the skill level of smithing that is required to make superior weapons and not armor. I'll get to that later. Let's just work with weapons, okay? Steel weapons, it gives you a discount, and that discount is down to 22. So instead of requiring 31, a smithing level of 31 to make superior weapons, superior steel weapons that is, you only need a smithing level of 22. And let's just prove that right now. We're going to improve weapons here, or rather, we already showed this, that we can't improve anything past fine, okay? So we're going to upgrade our smithing skills to 22. You get the biggest smithing skill bonus from simply using the forge. You get a smaller smithing skill bonus from improving weapons, but you get the biggest smithing skill bonus from using the forge. And pretty much the cheapest way to do it is to make iron daggers. I crunched the numbers, and to me it looks like the cheapest, whether you're buying the materials. No, let's just say if you're buying the materials. If you're a hunter like me, you're going to come across a lot of leather. You're going to come across a lot of hides, like wolf pelts and whatnot. And if that's your situation, the cheapest thing to do is make a whole bunch of leather bracers. Okay, so I'll get to that later. For now, I've got a whole bunch of iron ingots. Going to make a whole bunch of iron daggers and upgrade my smithing skills to 22. Let's do it. And usually just make 4 iron daggers. 2 iron daggers per skill, so I got up to 21 now. Let's do it again. And there we go. Smithing skill increased to 22. Alright. Made ourselves 4 iron daggers. That's all it took. Let's go back to the grindstone. Check out the weapons we wanted to improve earlier. For example, my steel mace. And as you can see, I can now improve it to superior. Alright, so that's the deal with that. Let's just do that right now. I also want to improve the steel dagger to superior. And one of these bows, I think I'm going to go with the hunting bow, or rather the ancient Nord bow. That'll bump it up to 15. Hunting bow will only go up to 13 superior. The Nord axe, I can put that up, but the mace outclasses it at 20. I also have an orcish bow here, but that requires orichalcum ingot, and I don't have that, so we'll keep that on board. Right now, the best choice is the ancient Nord bow. Put that up to superior, craft, do it to it, and we're done. Smithing increased to 23. Woohoo! Alright, so now you can see that improving weapons clearly has an effect on your smithing skill, okay? So tanning, no. Smelting, no. Improving weapons, yes, a little bit. Creating weapons and armor and whatnot, a lot. Okay, so that's the deal with that. Now, let's get on over to the workbench. This is what I find a little odd, but leather, I consider it, you know, I don't know, how should we say, an inferior material to steel, and I have smithing skill up to 22, and there is no perk in the smithing skill tree to work with leather, so you would figure they just give that to you by default. I've got my smithing skills down to 22. They give you, you know, a default discount and allow me to make superior leather armor, but no. All I'm going to give me is fine. And after some extensive experimenting, I figured that you have to go all the way up to level 31, the base level, in order to get this up to superior. Okay, so we're going to do that now just for purposes of, just for demonstrational purposes, and bump up our smithing skills to 31. I'm going to stop at 30, just to show you that I still can't make superior armor. And then we're going to bump it up to 31 and show you that that has changed. So let's jam out a whole bunch of iron daggers, a whole bunch more iron daggers. And smithing is up to 24, and I'm out of leather strips. How many iron ingots do I have left? There we go, 5. Okay, so I need each iron dagger requires 1 iron ingot and 1 leather strip. And I have no leather strips. Each leather produces 4 leather strips, so let's jam out enough leather strips to make the iron daggers. And 8. There we go. That's enough to jam out a whole bunch more iron daggers. Smithing increased to 25. And I leveled up. Smithing increased to 26. And I'm out of iron daggers. Or rather, I'm out of materials to make iron daggers. I'm out of iron ingots. So that's it for the iron daggers. Let's move on to leather bracers. I've got lots of leather. I've got 15 leather and some leather strips. Each leather bracer requires 1 leather and 2 leather strips. So let's do some tanning so that we have a 1:2 ratio of leather to leather strips. I currently have in my possession 15 leather, 3 leather strips. So if I convert 5 leather to leather strips, that's 4 per leather. That's going to make 23 leather strips and 10 leather. And I'm going to make a couple more leather for something else later on. I forget what, but anyways, we'll get to that later. Let's just jam out a whole bunch of leather strips. Once again, this is not going to upgrade our smithing skills. There we go, 5. So there we go, we got 23 leather strips and 10 leather. And I wanted to convert something else I have in my inventory here. I had this all worked out in advance. Something else to bump it up to 12 leather, so that would almost be a perfect 1:2 ratio of leather to leather strips, so I can jam out a whole bunch of leather bracers. In the meantime, I just want to comment that hides actually weigh less than the leather that you create from them. So it's better to keep your raw materials in the form of hides until you're ready to work with it to create it into leather, and that way it weighs less, takes up less space in your inventory. Anyways, let's jam out a whole bunch of leather bracers, leather strips. Hang on, I just want to go check, see if Lydia's holding on to me. Hey, leave the chick alone. Leave the lady alone. She's my house girl.
I am sworn to carry your burdens.
Lydia, have you got a couple of spare leather for me? No, you don't. Okay, I know I got a couple more leather here somewhere. I know it was going to work out to exactly 12 leather and 23 leather strips.
I'll just be here then.
Just put on my old thinking cap here. Hang on one second. Okay, got the thinking cap on. Oh, I know what. Deer hide. I've got a deer hide. Crank out a couple more leather. Each deer hide produces 2 leather. There we go. Knew there's something wrong. I had this worked out in advance. There we go. Okay, 12 leather and 23 leather strips. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's another thing. Each wolf pelt produces 1 leather, and each deer hide produces 2 leather. So that's the difference in value between wolves and deer. Leather bracers. Jam out a whole bunch of those. Get our smithing skill up to 30. As you can see, it's pretty much the same rate as producing iron daggers. 2 of each bumps you up 1 level, and I imagine that's going to become more as you get to higher levels. Smithing up to 28. Smithing up to 29. And yeah, as you can see, it's requiring 3 leather bracers this time. 30. let's go see if we can make some superior leather armor. Here we go, Imperial Light Armor. Requires leather. I've got the leather, but I can still only bump it up to fine. There you go. So that proves that without a doubt. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do high, can't do the light armor, can't do the bracers. Let's go back and bump up our smithing skills one more level. By making a couple more leather bracers. There we go, smithing increased to 31. Check it out. Imperial Light Armor. As you can see, we can now bump it up to superior quality. Same with the hide helmet, superior quality. Same with the hide bracers, superior quality. And same with the leather bracers. Alright, so that's the deal with that. You need at least 31 to make superior quality leather armor. Same with iron, anything to do with iron in the armor department, you need 31. Which is kind of, sorry to say, it's kind of stupid because, you know, these are lower quality, you know, I consider it lower quality than steel, so they should give you that, but they don't. Alright, so that's the deal with that. Let's do some upgrades now that I've got the ability. I think I've only got one leather left, so I'm going to choose the leather armor because that's going to give me the biggest upgrade in my armor. I'm also going to use leather bracers and replace my high bracers with that, but I don't have enough leather to upgrade it, but I'm going to at least wear them and sell my high bracers, so that's the plan. Let's upgrade
We're a
that.
small village, but we work hard and take care of our own.
Isn't that nice? And craft. Do it to it. There you go. So my leather armor or Imperial Light Armor is bumped up to 32. Alright. So that's that. Pretty much done everything here I can think of. Yeah. So that's my smithing 101.
Agreeable enough, I suppose.
No, whether, yeah, I'll get to you in a minute there, Alec Findel. Whether you know, like, I mean, what kind of smithing strategy you want to take on, that is an entirely different story, okay? That's a whole other question. I'm just like, you know, doing this demonstrational video here for just to establish what the ground rules are so that everyone, you know, is on the same page of, you know, exactly what you need to do. And I got some of this information off the UESP website under their smithing section. They have a nice table there telling you exactly, you know, what is required to get, you know, to make the various qualities of weapons and armor, you know, fine, superior, exquisite, flawless, epic, and legendary. And I'll post the link in the video description to that page, and y'all check it out. But I just wanted to check it out for myself by running these experiments just to see if it was actually true, because there's a lot of disinformation floating around out there about you know, Skyrim, including in the actual official Skyrim game guide. Right? So that's it for this video. Next video I'm going to first going to save the game here. Next video I'm going to jam on over to the Guardian Stones and hit up the Thief Stone so that my speech skills will improve 20% faster, and then I'm going to sell all the spare weapons and armor I have, and then I'm going to go up to Dragon's Reach and do a little thieving, get a few soul gems that I'll need for my journey up to the top of the mountain to hook up with the Greybeards. Alright, so thank you all very much for watching. If you thought this video was remotely entertaining, don't forget to give your Slackster a thumbs up. Alright, that's it. Slack out.